Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Good morning, Gigi, or should I say afternoon? I guess it's afternoon now.
Good afternoon.
That's
Good
okay. That's okay.
afternoon, my dear.
Happy
How's it going?
Sunday! Happy Sunday for us.
All right. Yes.
Depending on what day and time you're listening, it could be any time.
We'll see
Yes,
when people listen to it.
yes. And thank you again, everyone, for whoever's listening, whoever's hearing the sound of my voice. We appreciate your participation in our little project as we keep going and trudging our way through season 5. Season 6 and then season 7 is still filming as we speak. They are still filming. They have a couple weeks left. Then it'll be a few months, several months, and hopefully by the end of the year, season 7 will come out. And we'll just keep
Well,
going. We'll let season 7 marinate for a minute before we jump into doing season
talking about
7. By the time we get to season 6, it'll have been enough time. It'll have been roughly 6 or 7 months. We'll be ready. But season 7, we're going to have to pause and wait. I would say we'll give it a couple months and then we'll jump into season 7. We don't know what that's going to bring, but it'll be fun. So,
I hope so.
so what are you drinking today?
Well, today I am having myself a little bit of my favorite because it's been a rough couple of weeks. So I kind of splurge. So I got myself a cafe mocha, and you'll love this. It's cold. It's not hot.
What?
I know. I know.
I'm shocked. I am shook.
Even when I walked in there and one of the girls who knows me, I don't go there often, but she knows me enough
She
to
gave
know.
you a look.
Just even she gave me a look. She was like,
Are
"You
you
you
feeling
been
okay?
cold."
You all right?
I was like, "Yeah, today." I said, "Today I'm feeling it's a little warm here," and I was like, well, "Okay." And I went out late to get my coffee today, so it's like, right, I'm going for something cold. So yeah,
Wow.
I, I know the world's coming to an end, girl.
Wow. I'm proud of you for stepping over to the cold side.
You would be.
Nice. Nice. Yes,
Mhm.
I am also having an iced drink. I know. It's a shocker. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Today I kind of jazzed up I made it at home because we got some
Okay.
concentrate. Costco had some kind of concentrate. It's got a little bit of a chocolatey, or not
Oh.
concentrate. It's ready to go, but it's like a cold brew. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a little bit of a chocolatey taste to it. And
Mm-hmm.
my cinnamon vanilla doesn't go with it, so I sweetened it with a little bit of vanilla. I use the skinny syrups because I don't want any extra calories or carbohydrates. I stay away.
Mm-hmm.
So I flavored it and sweetened it with a little vanilla, and then I got some
Okay.
sugar-free caramel,
Look at
and
you.
and then I took my flavored creamer and I got my
Mm-hmm.
little frother and I made my own little cold foam on top. It was like I think it's a caramel macchiato flavored cold foam. So I just went with
Yeah.
the chocolatey caramel today.
All
It's
right.
actually,
Look at
it's sadly, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say that it's a little too sweet.
mm,
I think I overdid it. I think I could have ignored the vanilla and just stuck with the
mm-hmm.
caramel and the the flavored creamer, and I think it
Mm-hmm.
might have been enough. But live and learn. It's
Well, it's also you're experimenting with your drink, so that's the thing.
exactly,
You're
exactly.
so
So I
yeah.
think next time I will maybe use a little less vanilla. We'll try a little less and see how that goes. But
Okay.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's just a little. I'm gonna let the ice melt. It'll
Mm-hmm.
it'll maybe help a little bit. So I'm letting it
Right.
melt before I drink the whole thing down. Um, but yeah, so we're ready. I'm caffeinated. I've had about a third of it. So I'm caffeinated and ready for this episode. Things are gonna start looking up a little bit. Mel and Jack are still dealing with a lot. It's gonna take
Yes.
some time. Um,
Yeah.
it's still rough. This whole with the fire and the baby and the season. It's a tough season. It's a different season. It's doesn't have the same amount of romance and emotion that most seasons have. We all know why. We're going to get through it because, like I always say, light at the end of the tunnel is season 6. Season 6 is happy
Mm,
and joyous and love, to love fest. It is a love steamy fest. So we'll get there. But we got to get through this one first. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We have 5 episodes left. The last 2 are very holiday centered. Number 10 starts the holidays, and 11 and 12 are like full on Christmas special. So,
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
special episode on Virgin River. So, yeah, so it'll be good. It'll be good. We just got to get through these next couple before we have some fun.
Okay, let's start
All
then.
right, then let's get started.
Okay, we are in season 5, episode 8. It's called The Full Moon.
All right.
Mm-mm-mm.
After a girls' night, Mel struggles to let go of her fears. Kaia opens up to Preacher. Mike and Brady set aside their differences to nab a criminal. See this whole season, it's like we got the fire, we got the baby, we got criminal, things happening. Well, let's get to it. So we start off with, now this scene is a favorite. It's a
It is.
fallback to something that happened earlier in
Mm-hmm.
the show. But
And we're a big fan of Lizzo because of her music in both relatable.
yes, yes. Now, before we get into it, the music on the show obviously is very poignant. And I think I've touched on this before in probably season 2, maybe 3, I can't remember. But they pick certain songs for a certain reason. Now, apparently, this particular song was not the first choice. They asked Alex Breckenridge, who plays Mel, what song would you like to dance to? And she picked a couple, and some of those songs were a little too expensive or not available, or for whatever reason, they couldn't pick. She couldn't have what she wanted. But this is the one that she landed on. And so this is the song, and it's exactly How I Feel by Lizzo. And this scene is hilarious. I just,
It is.
it's so funny. It's finally like Mel is starting to feel a little more like herself. And
Mm-hmm.
after what she went through in the last 2 episodes, to see her
Mm-hmm.
smiling and dancing and, having a little fun, it's like, oh, thank goodness, she's gonna be okay. It's rough, but she's gonna be okay. So we see
Yep.
the cabin and we hear the music, and she's dancing her booty off and just dancing around the living room, singing. Now she loves to dance. Alex Breckenridge loves to dance, and in any of the like the behind the scenes stuff, she's always dancing. So this is like nothing for her. Like some people be like, "Oh, I was embarrassed. They made me dance," but no, she's loving it, and she's dancing around the living room, singing and dancing and shaking her booty like she's having a good time. And she's got her back to the door, and as she's singing and dancing, Jack walks in and he's watching her. Now he's carrying flowers and coffee, and he is smiling, and she turns around and she stops like mid turn, and he's like, "Hey," and she's like, "Hey there," and he's just smiling. She's like, he goes, "I thought I'd make it back before you were awake." And she's like, "Is this what you do when I'm not here?" And she's just smiling like, "I've been caught." He goes, "'Cause I like it." He's just standing there staring at her with the biggest smile on his face. And
He's
he's
in
got,
awe of her.
oh my gosh, he's just like, part of him is like, that's hot. And the other part of him is like, I'm so glad she's feeling better, right? And
Yep.
so he's got coffee and flowers, and she smacks her butt, and he's just like, I'm gonna play it cool. Like, I really wasn't just dancing through the kitchen. And she turns off the music, and he's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Is this what you do when I'm not here? Because I like it." She goes, "I believe that is between me and the woodland creatures outside." And she's just trying to play it cool. He goes, "Right. Well, on behalf of myself and all of the assorted wildlife," he goes, "we're definite fans." And he gives her flowers. He goes, "From the squirrels," and he gives her coffee. He goes, "And this is from me." He goes, "Seriously, I'm really glad that you're feeling better." And she's like, "Me too." She goes, "And this is quite a spread you got going on here." She like made a full breakfast. Like, girlfriend has been busy. He goes, oh, well, there's more food, a lot more, but I ate it. Because remember, she probably didn't eat for a couple days and
Yeah.
was feeling really bad. But now that she's starting to feel like herself, her appetite comes back. And he's like, oh. And she's like, so that's all for you. Help yourself. And she's like, I got to go. He goes, I'm meeting Doc to go fishing. And he goes, you're what? It's like, fishing. He's like, fishing?
Yep.
Really? Like, she goes, when I left the clinic, I offered, and Doc took me up on it. I mean, everybody's trying to be there for her.
Yeah.
So her and Doc, since they're not working together, you know Doc misses her. Like,
Oh,
so
definitely.
much.
Yeah.
So much. So any opportunity to spend time with her, and he doesn't need to be there all the time. That's what he's got Cameron for. Cameron needs to, like, step it up, Buttercup. So
Hmm.
they're going to go fishing.
Very nice. Very nice.
So he's looking at her like, okay. And she goes, so then after I wash the smell of fish off my body, she goes, I'm going to go for a late lunch with the sewing circle ladies. And then girls' night with Bree. And he's like, I love how everyone's showing up for you. And she's like, yeah. He goes, you guess I'm just going to have to share my star. He goes, oh, well, don't you have a busy day? He goes, I do. It's load-in day, but, I'm not going to be that busy. I still can make that follow-up appointment with Dr. Lorton, see when we can start trying again. Ooh.
Oh.
The look on her face is like, oh,
Hmm.
yeah, right. She goes, maybe we can
We're
talk
gonna.
about that later. And he's like, sure. She goes, thank you for the flowers and the latte. Gives him a kiss. He's like, you're welcome. Love you. Love you too. And she puts her hat on. She's good luck fishing. And out the door she goes with a smile. So he's all ready for a baby. And
Hmm.
now she's the one that's hesitant, which, we don't we don't know yet, and I've said this before. We don't know the extent of her infertility yet. She does share that later in an episode or two. But once you hear that, then her hesitation makes so much more sense. I
Yeah.
mean, if it were just losing that one baby that she made to term and then this miscarriage, you'd be like, oh, but come on. I mean, even though that's devastating and hard, once you hear how many times she's been through this, then you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I get
Yep.
it. But since you don't know that yet, you're like, what is her hesitation? Come on, you've got him. He's finally in. Like, jump at it. But no, it's not. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's going to be a tough conversation they're going to have. And she's
Yeah.
avoiding
But
it at all costs right now.
yeah. It's one they're gonna have to have.
Yeah. So now we've got Brady, and he's on a little area by the river, and Mike shows up. He doesn't look happy to be there, but it's a necessary evil since they're going to work together. It's like they don't even want to look at each other. I love how they're just, he's got to look out into the water, and Brady's like looking in the other direction. Like they're not even going to look at each other. And he's like, we need to talk about the other day. And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And Mike is like, I swear, Sacramento was a complete coincidence. I had no idea that Bree was going to be there. We ran into each other at the courthouse, and he goes, I was just trying to be supportive. He goes, then why didn't you tell me about it? He goes, I knew if I told you, you'd probably overreact. Which you did. Which he
Exactly.
did. And he goes, if you really want a shot at getting her back, you have to take Melissa down. We have to take Melissa down. He goes, you got a wire for me or what? And he's like, yeah. And he hands it to him. And he's like, you're going to wear it today, all day. In a perfect world, you get Melissa admitting that she's laundering drug money through the glamping site, plus any details about drug locations and shipments. You expect her to say all this with Jack on site? Get her alone, get her talking. He puts his little, he lifts his shirt up, he puts it on his body. And Brady's like, all right. I mean, he wants to do this as fast as possible, but the reality is she's not going to just give it all up in
Blur
one
to the
conversation. I mean,
exactly.
and Brady's like, look, I'm telling you, if she doesn't admit it soon, I ain't gonna keep lying to Jack and Bree, because that's the worst. I mean, he's already in the doghouse, because he's not been
Mhm.
honest. And the last thing that he wants to do is lie to anybody, because that's what's
Mhm.
gotten him in trouble every single time, is him not being honest.
Exactly. Yep.
And yes, we understand the reason behind it, that if he tells them, they're going to get involved and mess it all up, and then they might not get her. But he's like, I can't, like, he may lose the friendship with Jack and Bree forever if they
Yep.
find out. So he's treading very lightly. And
That's an understatement.
Mike is just like, stay focused on our goal. That's all you got to do. The sooner we get this over with, the better. Now we're back at Hope's, and Lizzie shows up looking ready to work. She's got her cute little suit on. It's like shorts with a jacket and a little button up shirt, and she looks very professional.
Yep.
And
She is here to do a job.
she is. She is ready. I mean, she was hired to be the assistant to the mayor, and she is taking it very seriously. Good for her. Hope's like, you're here early, looking rather spiffy, I might add.
Yes, she does.
She goes, Boss Tweed. She goes, well, I am chief of staff to the mayor. She goes, I wanted to make a good impression on my first day. She goes, consider me impressed, as she sits there eating oatmeal. She goes, well, don't get used to it. This is a first day thing. She goes, I only have one outfit like this. She goes, clothes don't make the woman. She goes, now, I made a list of priorities for the day. And Hope starts paging through page 3, page 4. She goes, this is as long as the Bible. She goes, New Testament, but still. She goes, there's a lot to tackle. Lucky for you, your chief of staff is caffeinated and ready to work. First order of business is figuring out a solution for the displaced people staying at the school gym. She goes, it could be months before they're able to find permanent housing. So first order of business is changing out of your PJs, because she's standing there in her pajamas eating her oatmeal. And Denny walks in, and he's like, solving the housing crisis can be second on today's list. And Hope's like, a fine idea. Good morning, Denny. It's like, what are you up to today? Because I got a job interview at Bert's Auto Shop. He goes, good luck. As she leaves to go change, he gets a good look at Lizzie, and he's like, good morning. He goes, I'll walk you out while Hope gets changed. So the two of them, he's looking at her with a big smile, and she's like, what? He goes, what can I say? My powerful politician girlfriend is very sexy. He goes, powerful politician? Please, let's not go crazy. He goes, what are you kidding? Chief of staff to the mayor is epic. This promotion is a big deal. And so he's got this like sticker or patch or something, and it says, Hope plus Liz mean biz. And she laughs. He goes, I had Connie make it for me last night. He goes, this is really sweet. But Hope and I don't need a campaign. He goes, yet. He goes, when you do, now you have some swag and a boyfriend ready to canvas for you.
Very sweet.
Very sweet, the two of them. She goes, I appreciate the support. He goes, so Bert's shop, that could be interesting. He goes, yeah, well, super random, but he's the only one who called me in. And it's good to learn how to fix a car, change a tire, learn different types of wrenches. I looked it up. There's 40. She goes, that's good to know. Because clearly he doesn't know anything. She goes, good luck with your interview. Kiss, kiss, goodbye. And off he goes. He goes, Hope and Liz mean biz. Goodness. He's sweet. So now we are on the river. And it's Hope and Doc sitting in this teeny little boat with their fishing poles. And Mel's like, I gotta say, this is way more relaxing than I was expecting. And Doc's like, well, catching fish is nice, but it's like, I like it out here. This is where I think, and sometimes I even talk to the fish. And he's like, they talking back to you? He's like, oh, they're good listeners. No pressure. No expectations on this boat. And she's looking at him like, oh, yeah, he's fishing for something. Right? Like he wants to talk, and he's just giving me the time to be ready. And she's like, well, I have been avoiding the quiet today. She's like, just listening to music and trying to drown out my thoughts. And he's like, yeah. He's like, they always come creeping back, don't they? And she's like, yeah. He's like, be gentle with yourself. You're processing a lot emotionally and physically. He's like, and it just takes time to heal a broken heart. She's like, I used to tell mothers that all the time. She goes, and it's really different when you're the patient. And he's like, oh, I can relate to that. He goes, I'm in the same boat. And they start laughing because they're literally in a boat. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I see what you did there. They laugh. He goes, yeah, but in our line of work, sometimes it's hard to practice what you preach. He goes, how have things been going with Cameron at the clinic? And Doc's like, I'm offering him a partnership in the practice. She's like, Doc, that must have been a really hard decision. He's like, yeah, well, I'm not leaving right away, you know? He says, and with my eyesight, I need him to play a bigger role. He goes, I sure would love having you there during this. Work has always been healing for me. She goes, I would love to, which that's another thing. She quit so that she could prioritize her high risk pregnancy.
That's true.
And now that she's not pregnant, I'm sure Doc was like, does that mean she'll come back? Because, yes, they need Cameron, but they really needed her too. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, having a woman nurse practitioner midwife there for all the women, it's a shame
Yeah.
she felt she needed to quit. Totally understand why, and they get it, and they were totally supportive of it. But now that she's not pregnant, you know he was wanting to ask, can you come back, please, please, please? But he didn't want to ask. And
Right.
so he sort of asked. And then she said, yeah, she'd love that. And he's like, well, that was easy. She's like, well, leaving the clinic wasn't. I mean, that's a part of her. She goes, you know, I think Hope was right. Nursing has never been just a job for me. And he's like, yep, it's a calling. So she's like, so when do you want me to start? He goes, whenever you're ready. She's like, okay. So yay.
Mel's back.
And it looks like she got something. He's like, I think maybe I just caught a first fish. And so they're laughing and he's trying to help her pull it in. So yay, Mel's going to go back to the clinic. Being at the clinic sort of paid for her where she lives. Remember how she had a little chat with Hope and apologized for like leaving 7 months early, which tells you she'd only been there 5 months. She's been there 5 months. All this happened in 5 months. We're on season 5, for God's sake.
5. So each month is a year.
Each month is a year. It's insane.
It's wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So now we're sort of at the glamping site, and Brady shows up and he sees one of the airstreams and he sees the curtains moving. And he's like, what the heck is going on over there? And he sees somebody peek out and then cover the thing. And he goes up to it. He puts his coffee down and he hears people talking. And a woman's like, Hazel, we don't have time. We got to go. And the door's open and he kind of walks up. He goes, but where's my boots? And they're talking and having a conversation. And he's like, fine, I'll look in my bag. And he's like, Lark? And she looks at him like, oops, we've been caught. She goes, oh my God, Brady. She's like, hi. And he's like, hey. And he opens the screen door. He goes, what are you doing here? He goes, I didn't know anyone. I'm sorry. Oh, this is so embarrassing. He goes, we're leaving. Just forget we were even here. And she's like, hi, Brady. And he's like, hey, kid. And she's like, Hazel, can you pack up your toys? So the kid starts packing her stuff. And she goes out and she's talking to Brady. And she's like, he goes, what's going on? She goes, we're staying at the elementary school with the other evacuees. But Hazel couldn't fall asleep. And then she started losing it. And I was passing by. I noticed all the empty trailers. And I figured we could crash for a night and leave super early, you know. And then I slept through my alarm. And he kind of chuckles. And she's like, please don't call the cops. I'm sorry. And he's like, it's okay. It's fine. Because she's kind of nervous. He's like, seriously, you were just being a good mom. And then a car pulls up. He goes, I'd let you stay longer, but it's not my call to make. He goes, besides, you don't want to stay here. It's about to get busy with construction. And Jack walks up and he's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, good morning. And she's like, hi. Like nervous. And as Hazel jumps out of the Airstream, like, oops. She goes, I remember you. He goes, yeah, I remember you. He goes, Basil, right? And she goes, no, Hazel. He goes, oh, Hazel. Yeah, it wasn't oregano, no? She goes, no. Parsley? He's like, no. And they start laughing. He goes, what's going on? He goes, you know what? We were... And Lark's like, we're just about... Brady is about to spare my dignity, but I don't want to lie. We were squatting. I'm sorry. we just had nowhere to go, but we're leaving now. And she goes over to Hazel, and she goes, wait a minute. And she goes, where are you going to go? And he's like, all right, why don't you stay here, just until you get settled? And Brady's like, here? He goes, well, you need a place to get back on your feet, right? And he goes, I got one. It's a no-brainer. And Lark runs over to Jack and just hugs him. She goes, oh, my God, thank you. And he goes, it's all good. He goes, I'm just going to go tell Hazel. And Brady's like, he goes, let's get back to work. And Brady's like, listen, I don't know if having them stay here is such a good idea. And he's like, why not? And he goes, it's a construction site. It could be dangerous. He goes, what are you worried about? That the little one's going to take a ride on a forklift? He goes, no, it's like, man, she's got a 6-year-old. He goes, I'm not going to put him out on the street. Brady's like, yeah, you're right. And then another car pulls up. Boy, this is a busy place today.
Tell me about it. But that looks, what's her name's car?
Uh-huh. And he goes, all right, I'm going to go check in with Melissa. He goes, why don't you go grab them some supplies? And Brady's like, sure thing. So Jack walks up to Melissa, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And she's looking happy. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go see Preacher and Kaia. Maybe they've worked things out? So Kaia's like, this seems like a lot of pomp and circumstance for bread and eggs. Okay, this is Preacher. The dude doesn't know how to just make breakfast.
Yes.
He's a chef, for God's sake. Take advantage. So he's got some, I don't even know.
Well, you remember, she's a fire. They do everything in a rush.
Yes.
So her
and
idea
it's quick
of
and fast and easy.
Exactly. She grabs a piece of bread, maybe a whatever, and she's running out the door.
Yeah.
So the fact that somebody has taken time to make a gourmet meal is something foreign to her.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, it looks good. It's like, I don't know, like one little French toast. It's got a dollop of something in the middle with some raspberries and blueberries around it. It's like,
Yep. Probably some creme fraiche.
And he's like, oh, easy. Don't be a hater. This is my infamous panettone French toast. And she's like, He's like, okay.
That
so she
good.
takes a bite. She cuts it. She takes a bite. She puts it in her mouth. And she's like, She goes, I eat my words. Definitely worth the pomp. And he goes, and what about the circumstance? She goes, oh, it's delicious. He's proud of himself. He goes, hey, listen, I know you said things were over with Jay. She kind of stops chewing. She looks at him. She goes, but I get the feeling that he is not over you. And she's like, why? He goes, he basically told me so. She goes, like I said, you don't have to worry about Jay. But what you might want to worry about is what I have planned for us today. He goes, I thought you said you were gonna, relax. She's like, yeah. She goes, oh, you don't know me really, do you? No, I prefer a day of thrill to a day of chill. He's like, okay, well, let's do it. She goes, not until I finish every last bite of this fancy-ass toast. I like her. She's very, direct, to the point.
Direct, yeah. She doesn't have time for the frilly stuff.
And
she tells you what's on her mind.
There's no drama with her. She's like, she just doesn't have time for it.
No, she doesn't.
Which I love. I love that.
Well, I think also maybe considering that, I think when you're a firefighter, you understand that life can be very short because at any moment, something like what. Things can change. And so she may be one of these people who's like, I am going to seize the moment.
Right. She's very decisive. She's very matter of fact. She seems brutally honest.
Oh, yeah.
She's not going to hold back. So none of that timid, tentative,
No.
I think Paige had way too much drama.
Right.
Even though he deeply cared about her, it was never going to go anywhere. Unfortunately, in this storyline, in the books, it was a totally different thing. But in this storyline, it was never going to go anywhere. I mean, if she would have stayed, yes, they would have been together, gotten married, had kids, the whole 9 yards. But she left. So, and I think that Julia was far too comfortable. It was almost too laid back. They had chemistry, but not enough. not enough to make it worth it. Like, I
Yeah.
think he would have been like, I don't want to say bored in that relationship, but I think he needs, he's a Marine. He battled, and I feel
Yeah,
like he's missing out on what life has to offer by just settling down so
but I
much.
think also too is that it his nature, he is a very mild mannered person to some degree.
Absolutely.
While he needs somebody
He
who
needs
can,
somebody to compliment him.
right, but who brings out the adventurous side in him. I
Right.
mean, military did that for him.
Yeah.
But now he needs a woman who can do the exact same thing that the military did
Right.
which was to bring out
He needs somebody to
while he,
challenge him.
right. And so that's, I think, what Kaia is for him.
Yeah,
So,
I think they're a really good match. I know in the beginning I was unsure, but it's like
mm,
we were getting to know her and not
yeah,
knowing that she's just forward and brash and says it like it is. Like, it was very
mm,
unexpected because of the women that have been around him before. It was like,
mm-hmm,
whoa, she's coming on strong. But, maybe he needed that. He needed somebody to pull him out of his comfort zone. He was just getting a little too lackadaisical.
mm-hmm.
And now he's having a good time.
Yep.
So let's hope it lasts, because I like
He
her.
is
I
just a,
was I was very on the fence about her in the beginning, but I really, and as the season progresses and into next season, I really like her.
right.
I think she's great. I think she's so good for him. But we will see how that progresses. So now we are back at Jack's bar, and we got the sewing circle ladies together. We've got Joellen and we've got Connie and Muriel and Liddy and Mel. And Mel is there, and they're like, "Oh, we're so glad to have you back." And she's like, "Me too." And she goes, "So what are you working on today?" She goes, "Well, I thought I would finish my baby dress." And Muriel's like, "Oh." She goes, "Isn't that darling?" She goes, "The little bird applique." She goes, "That's a lovely touch." She's like, "Thanks." She goes, "It reminds me of my mom." She goes, "She used to call me her little bird." And they're all like, "Oh." She goes, "So I figured after the fire, somebody's little bird might need a dress." And Muriel's like, "That's so sweet of you." And Liddy's like, "You just keep flying, sweetheart." So then she asks, she goes, "Ladies, so are you going to catch me up on all the town gossip?" And they're like, "Now, Mel, we do not gossip," Muriel says. "We simply exchange provocative local news." She's like, "Oh, for instance." And Joellen's like, "Did you know that Muriel is shacking up with Cameron?" Like, we're not going to hide anything. We're just going to put it out there.
This is why I love these ladies.
I
This
love
is why I
them.
love
They have a scene in season 6 that is freaking hilarious. That will be so enjoyable when we get there. But oh my god, this is great. I love how
uh,
they just speak their mind. And
uh,
Muriel is like, the look on her face, and Mel, she looks at her and she goes, "Well, that is news to me." And they're all looking at her. She goes, "Don't make it sound sordid." She goes, "I'm staying in his guest room while my house is being repaired." She goes, "I am roommates with his Peloton." She goes, "I guess the amenities at my place weren't as enticing as the good doctors," as Connie says to her.
yes.
She goes, "Would you just stop?" She goes, "There's nothing going on between me and Cameron," as he walks up. And he's like, "Hi." And then he's like, "Hi, ladies." And she's like, "Hey." She goes, "Oh, Mel, can I borrow you for a minute?" She's like, "Sure." And everybody's like, "Oh, God, it's like, do we want to cringe a little? Like, Cameron, have you learnt your lesson? This is
Mm,
a good test to see if Cameron can act like a normal person and not like an idiot."
we can only hope.
Ah, Cameron, what are we gonna do with you? I hope you've learned your lesson. So Mel's like, "What's up?" He goes, "So I heard you took Doc up on his offer to come back to the clinic." And she smiles. She's like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "That's great. We couldn't do it without you." He's like, "As you proved by consistently being there even when you were gone," which is so true. She was there so much. And they both laugh. And she's like, so, he goes, it's nice to make it official. And she's like, yeah. He goes, I might be belaboring this, but I wanted you to know that I've seen firsthand how wrong I was about Jack.
Oh,
I'm
he brought
truly
it up.
sorry for judging him. She goes, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's like, finally, can we just bury the hatchet and never bring this up again?
Tell me about it.
Like that's really good of him because it's sincere. Like before he would say it, but he didn't mean it. You know, like, yeah, I'm sorry, blah, blah. But this he really does because he has seen Jack be there for her and he did make a very snap decision about Jack. And now he really does believe what he's saying. So this is sincere and she does appreciate it, which is nice. He goes, so I'll see you at the office. And she's like, yep, see you at the office. See, and look at that. He says what he says and he walks away. Thank God. So then before he walks away, though, he stops by Muriel and he's like, oh, hey, I was going to swing by Swinton's Market and pick up some steaks for dinner. And she looks at him and she's like, he goes, how does that sound? She goes, nice. She goes, oh, I'll pick up a nice Merlot. And she goes, okay, perfect. Bye, ladies. And like, bye. And she's like nothing. Like, yeah, that's just a normal. And all the ladies are giving her the side eye. Like,
yeah.
And Liddy's like, He goes, there's a full moon tonight. He goes, it's supposed to be stunning. And then Connie doesn't even look up. She's like, you know what they say about a full moon, Muriel? Muriel's like, no, what do they say about a full moon, Connie? She goes, wild things happen. And Muriel's like, And Liddy's like, very wild. And they all start laughing. Muriel's like, oh my God, you people. So we're back at the glamping site, and Melissa shows up with donuts. And she goes, I always thought the way to a crew's heart is through their stomachs, as she's passing donuts out to all the workers. And she's like, Brady's assembled a solid crew, and look at this view. In a few months, big city travelers will be scrambling to escape here. He goes, well, on that note, since, it's going to be a little while before we officially open, I was hoping we could let some of the displaced evacuees stay here. And he's like, I mean, they are sleeping in the school gym. She goes, well, I think that's a wonderful idea. He goes, all right, I'll let Hope know that she can let them know. And she goes, and Jack, Nick told me about your loss. I am truly sorry. And I want you to know you don't have anything to worry about here. He's like, thanks. Honestly, I'm happy to have the distraction right now. And so once I speak to Hope, she goes, I'll get the work on compiling those receipts and the work invoices. She goes, actually, I already have asked Brady to take care of that. I thought you would want to spend as much time with Mel as you could. Like, she's acting so sincere and don't feel like you have to avoid putting work on my plate. I want to pull my own weight, and I've been doing the bar books and everything. She goes, I know you can. I guess I just feel that we're family now, and in my family, we look out for each other. And, he's thinking she's so sincere and like, oh, my God, how wonderful of this woman that she cares so much. And he's like, thanks. I really appreciate that. And she's like, And they're playing a song, Let Down. Like, yeah, we're going to let you down. We're just going to let you down slow and easy, and you're not even going to know what's going on. Oh, these people. So now we have Preacher and Kaia on dirt bikes. And they look like they are ready. And they look at each other, and it's like, oh, it's on. They put their helmets on.
As she said,
rev up the engine, and off they go. And they are riding over bumps, and she's like, here I come, because she's trailing them. They are riding through, I think it's the same trail that the guys, remember when all the Marine guys came? And they went dirt biking. So Preacher obviously knows this area. So they're jumping over things. Oh, she passed them. Now she's ahead of them. She's like, gotta keep up, Preach. She's teasing them. And they're taking their corners. He was careful with that turn. And Preacher's like, I got it. And they're just having a good time. They're like, woohoo. So then they stop on one of the bridges. And she's like, Preacher gone wild. And he goes, yeah. And they're laughing. She goes, how did you get that name anyway? She's like, well, my mom. She gave me the nickname when I was a kid. She said I talked too much. But when I did, people listen. She's like, wow, a boy and his flock. He goes, yeah, pretty much. She's like, mm-hmm. Because it started off as a joke, but like, with all good nicknames, it stuck. I don't know. It just seems more natural than my given name. She goes, what is your given name? And he's like, Engelbert. She's like, that is a very unique name. Mm-hmm. She goes, yeah, it's strong. And he laughs. He's like, I'm kidding. It's John. She's like, phew. He goes, oh, and he's a jokester now. And he goes, yeah, I got a million of them. He goes, what were you like as a kid? And she's like, takes a deep breath. She goes, wild. He goes, yeah, I come from a long line of daredevils, mostly firefighters. He goes, folks must be proud of you at the moment. She goes, that's debatable. He goes, my dad is mad about me and Jay. He's old school, doesn't really believe in divorce. He goes, ouch. She goes, yeah, I'm standing my ground and Dad can deal with it. So can Jay. Preacher's like, So she's, now he knows that she's serious about this divorce. So now we're back at the cabin and Ava's walking up. She's like, hey, Mel. And she's like, hey. She's like, I know that you do not cook. She goes, I can see those telltale signs. She goes, Hope promises me no more casseroles. Well, she also promised she'd make me one. But she said, you got to admit, her southwestern casserole is the bomb. So she hands it to Mel, and she goes, how are you holding up? She's like, I'm hanging in. She goes, I'm free to hang out later, if you need help with your casserole. It's one of her favorites. She goes, oh, thanks. She goes, actually, Jack's sister Bree invited me over for drinks. You should come. She's like, she wouldn't mind? She goes, no, she's a sweetheart. She's going to love you. Now, at the same time, Bree is hanging out with Mike. And they're watching a baseball game. And Bree is very serious about her baseball.
A game I still don't understand.
It's baseball. It's just boring to me. I'm sorry. I'm not a baseball fan. Even watching it, like if you're there, people say, oh, if you're there, it's more exciting. It's not. I don't get it. I just don't care. I like football better, but baseball just seems boring to me. But Bree seems to love it. She's like, what the hell? This is not Little League, sir. And Mike is just laughing at her. He's like, Jack told me once you got ejected from a Dodgers game. Now I can see why. They're just having a beer together, hanging out. She rolls her eyes at him. She goes, yeah, well, Jack exaggerates, okay? She goes, I was asked to leave very firmly. And he just laughs at her. He goes, you know what? I didn't start that chant. He also said your language made the pitcher blush. He goes, that was the steroids, and he deserved to hear every word of that. Because he was phoning it in just like this guy.
This is what happens when you're youngest and you have older brothers.
Right? Oh my gosh.
You end up picking up a whole lot of things you're not supposed to say.
Well, and Mike is like, I'd hate to ever get on your bad side. Jeez. Like, she's like, I doubt you could. He's like, thanks for today. And the wings. She goes, yeah, of course. It's the least I could do. She goes, you've really shown up for me lately. She goes, which brings me to my next question. I was kind of hoping maybe you would do it one more time. He goes, I draw the line at rides to the airport. She goes, no. My company has a softball team. We have a game tomorrow, and our shortstop broke his leg at a bachelor party in Nashville. He's like, He goes, I was hoping you would sub in maybe. And she's looking at him like eyebrows raised, like, please.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you need a ringer. She's like, mm-hmm. He goes, He goes, I mean, who can turn down that face? She goes, yeah. He goes, I'll do it. She goes, yes. He goes, you up for another round? He grabs her empty bottle and he gets up to go get another beer. He goes, if you're getting up, thank you. So she's taking a deep breath like, Then her phone dings. She's looking at it and it's a text from Brady. It says, I'm sorry about the other day. I was out of line. I hope you can forgive me. Oh, Brady. Brady. I don't know. She just puts it down. She just doesn't know what to say.
Nope.
So now we are back at the campsite, and Hope is there with Lizzie and Brady, and Jack is like, all the trailers have power now. And Brady's like, yep, all set up. And Hope is like, Jack. And he's like, oh, good timing. He goes, you guys want to walk some families over to the trailers? And Lizzie's like, I'm on it. And Hope gives both Brady and Jack a big hug. And she goes, my knight's in shining armor. And they're like, oh, it's all good. She goes, it's a pretty great thing you're doing here, Jack. He goes, well, there, but for the grace of God go I. Jack says to Brady, oh, and thanks for taking the lead on those invoices and the purchase orders. And Brady's like, what do you mean? Because Melissa needs Brady to handle all the invoices because that's how she's going to launder money through the glamping site.
Yep.
But Jack's not supposed to know about it. And apparently, Melissa didn't give Brady the heads up that that's what he was going to tell Jack. So now he's got to, like, cover his ass. And, of course, Jack has no clue. And he's like, well, Melissa said you were going to organize all the receipts for materials. And Brady catches on real quick. You know, he's like, and track the labor costs? And Brady's like, right. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get much sleep last night. I can barely see straight. But I'm on top of it. Don't even worry about it. He's like, if you need me to, like, look over your work. And Lizzie yells, hey, Jack, they have a question about the AC. Can you show us how it works? And he's like, yep, I'll be right there. And Brady pats Jack on the shoulder. He goes, I'm on top of it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go set up the next family. Like, he wants a beeline out of there as fast as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts guiding another family to a different trailer. So Preacher and Kaia are cozying up. It's about sunset. And he's like, you know, today was great. He goes, you know, you really pushed me. He goes, yeah, this was way better than a day of relaxing, right? He goes, well, now it's my turn to push you out of yours a little. Because she pushed him way out of his comfort zone. And she looking at him like, okay. He goes, I want to know what really happened with you and Jay. She's like, getting deep and serious is kind of new terrain. He goes, well, we can take it slow. She's like, well, as she sits up, he puts his wine glass down. They're going to have a little chat. So they're going to face each other. He's like, I met Jay during basic training. And as you can imagine, it's a pretty intense environment, especially if you're a woman. I was the only one, and the guys were bothered by my presence, except for Jay. He was welcoming, arrogant, but sweet. I mistook his smugness for confidence. Wasn't until after we were married that I realized he was masking insecurity. So how long into the marriage before things... She's like, year 7. Things came to a head when we both applied for a promotion to be team lead. Jay got competitive, started belittling me in front of the team, and because he's a guy and I'm not, they believed him when he said I was too fragile for the job. And Jay got the promotion over you? He did. And then he asked me to stop firefighting. Stay home so we could start a family. And I just didn't understand why I had to be the one to quit. Sorry he put that on you, poor Preacher. He's like, that's not right. He goes, Jay wanted me to give up on my dreams. I refused. He asked for a divorce. He goes, how did you manage to work with him still after all that? She's like, you're in the Marines. You know what it's like to not get along with the person you're paired up with. He goes, yeah, you put your personal issues aside for the greater good. She's like, yep, but you can only do that for so long. He goes, you deserve to get what you want. All the men in my life make me feel that I should only speak if I'm standing behind them. He goes, well, you can stand wherever you want with me. And he grabs her hand, interlaces their fingers. He goes, just hold my hand while you're doing it. So she grabs it closer. She gets closer to him and they start snuggling. So he goes, so how much time do I have left with you anyway? And she's like, I'm still waiting to hear. She goes, we can make this work if we want to. They both look kind of worried. Because, I mean, if she's there for, it's a job, it's like a temporary thing. You know, we don't know the situation. Like, she was there to handle the fire, but now that things are finishing up, I mean, are they going to, you know, where is her main location? Are they going to send her back? You know, there's, you know, poor Preacher. He just keeps losing women. So we're back at the glamping site, and Brady gets a text message, and his message to Bree was delivered, but there has not been a response because he was hoping she would reply.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Mm-mm. So he puts his phone away, and he walks over to Lark's little trailer, knocks on the door. He's like, hey. It's like, hi. She goes, I was about to head out. I wanted to see if you guys needed anything else. She goes, oh, you've done enough for one day. Hazel conked out already. And he's like, cool. He goes, well, have a good night. She goes, Brady? She's like, do you have time for a beer? He goes, it's the least I could do after everything you've done for us. And he's like, yeah, sure. I don't have anywhere to be because clearly Bree is not interested right now. So we're back at Bree's house, and it's a girls' night. It's Ava and Mel and Bree, and they're all drinking some wine. And they ask Bree, have you ever given a really impassioned speech, her being a lawyer, like in A Few Good Men? And she's like, oh, yeah, totally. Most of my cases end in very Oscar-worthy soliloquies about truth and honor. And she says it with like a total straight face. And Ava's like, really? And Bree's like, no. Like, no. And they all start laughing. She goes, most of my cases don't even go to trial. They just end up in lame arbitration. And Mel's like, see, I told you, you guys are going to hit it off. She goes, what did I say? And Bree's like, well, we did. She goes, I'm really glad you guys are here. I needed some girl time. Mel's like, me too. And Bree says, Brady and I broke up. And Mel's like, what? And Bree's like, mm-hmm. Like, officially? And she's like, yeah. She goes, oh, honey, I'm sorry. And Ava's like, men. And Mel's like, mm-hmm. And Bree's like, well, I mean, that's very easy for you to say. And Ava's like, oh, no, I'm kind of glad I'm not the only sad sack here. She goes, oh, no, what's wrong? And Ava's like, she's like, I just feel bad about everything that happened during the fire. She goes, oh, and Mel's like, oh, Ava, that was completely out of your control. She goes, no, that's not entirely true. She goes, during the fire, I was having an endo episode. The pain got so bad, I fell and I hit my head. She goes, well, that doesn't sound like it was your fault, as Mel's like rubbing her back. She's trying to console her a little bit. She goes, maybe if I would have, I don't know, settled on a treatment plan sooner, I wouldn't have put my sister in danger. She goes, Ava, even if you would have settled on a treatment plan, there was no guarantee that you would have been pain-free. Okay? Thinking like that, not going to do you any good. And they're like, right. She goes, and Chloe's safe. That's all that's important. She's like, yeah, I just need to let it all go. She's like, yes. They've all inhaled deeply. She goes, luckily, tonight is a full moon. She goes, which is the perfect time to let go of what no longer serving me. And they're looking at her like, she's like, do you have a fire pit? And she's like, yeah. She goes, all we need is a crystal, a notepad, and some paper. She goes, do you have a crystal? She goes, I have no crystal. And Ava's like, okay. She goes, please tell me you're not going to howl at the moon. I mean, and they look at her as Ava gets up to go get the supplies. And Bree's like, I mean, she is from Portland. She goes, what can I say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we're back at Doc's, and Denny's coming home, and he's like, hey. And he goes, hi. And he goes, how'd the interview go? He goes, well, Bert asked me a bunch of questions I didn't know the answer to, and then his wife gave me this cobbler, so I guess not very well. He goes, well, that's very nice of Shirley. Sorry you didn't get the job. He goes, it's okay. Bert said I could apprentice. You know, it'd be cool to learn how to restore a classic car. And he goes, so you're looking for a job? He goes, does that mean you're planning on staying here in Virgin River? And Denny's like, I am. Yeah, you know, I wanted to travel, but with Lizzie's new job? He goes, well, I just have to put it on hold. And he's like, well, you got no pressure from me. He goes, having you here makes me incredibly happy. And he's like, me too. He goes, I don't want to put any pressure on you, as he says to Doc. He's like, but Grandma Rose called this morning. She was wondering if she could come for a visit. And Doc's like, oh. He goes, you know, she really wants to meet Lizzie. See my life here. See you. And Doc's eyes got real big. He goes, I think the wildfires scared her too. He's like, so she threw out tomorrow, but only if you're okay with it. And I know that the two of you haven't spoken about what happened with my dad. And he goes, no, we have not. He goes, but perhaps it's time that we did. He goes, why don't you let me discuss this with Hope? He goes, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, okay, thank you. He goes, I know, it's a complicated situation. He goes, it means a lot that you're considering it. He goes, well, I'm going to put this in the fridge. And because remember, Doc thought she died.
That's true.
Remember that? Her sister told him that she died.
Yeah.
But actually, she moved away to have a baby that she never told him about. And here we are 60 years later? Something like that? I don't know. Like a long time later that this is all coming about. We are at Cameron's house, and it's a full moon, and Muriel and Cameron are having a lovely dinner by candlelight in looks like the backyard. They got a bottle of wine. Remember he picked up some steak?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So I guess Cameron is explaining that his friend Elias was mad that he got the lead role in Little Shop back in the day. And she's like, so? And he goes, oh, wait. He played the plant. He goes, so the alarm goes off. I climb out of the massive flytrap costume. There I am standing on stage in my tighty whities in front of an auditorium full of people. She's like, why? Because the costume was too damn hot. So what did you do? He goes, well, when they evacuated the school and I stood outside in my underwear, and anyone that laughed or pointed, I gave them a little bow. He goes, so even back then you were a class act. And they start laughing. He goes, sometimes I come up a little bit short, like with Doc. He goes, oh, and the whole situation with Mel. He goes, I just got into town. I'd just broken things off with my ex-fiancé. And then I met Mel, and she's all the things that Michelle isn't. So I thought that I wanted to be with her, but it had nothing to do with Mel. Her and I never had that kind of connection. And he's getting very close to Muriel. I think they're even touching hands. They're just, it's like he's inching closer and closer. And Muriel's like, so what are you looking for these days?
Ooh.
I mean, real connections are hard to find. He goes, yes, they are. And they can catch you off guard. She goes, they can knock you off your feet just when you least expect it. Mm-hmm. And he's looking at her mouth and she's looking at his mouth. And then they're kissing. What?
Yeah.
Muriel. Cameron. Oh, my.
Whoa.
Like, I know he likes older women, but geez. Oh, kissing a lot. Interesting. He's like, I'm so sorry, but I can't do this. She's like, I thought you. He goes, no. I mean, I want to do this. But I promised Doc that I would be more professional. And, well, we work together. She's like, I get it. I do. She's like, but I would be so sad if our first kiss ended up being our last. And he looks at her like, really? So she goes back for a second. Interesting. Mm-hmm. She stands up. She's like, good night, Dr. Hayek. And she goes in the house. And he sits there like, what just happened? And she looks back like, okay. Well, that's interesting. So we have Doc and Hope. There's a nice little dinner with candles and everything. And she's like, dinner's ready. And she's like, hi, you handsome. He's like, look at this. He goes, you're a sweetheart. He goes, oh, I can be. He goes, how did it go today? And she goes, oh, incredible. She's like, I knew the people of Virgin River would keep showing up for one another. As he's pouring them some wine, she goes, it keeps me going. And so they do a little cheers and drink their wine. And she's like, She's looking at him. She's like, how was your day? And he goes, Denny told me that Rose wants to come for a visit. Boy, he didn't hold back on that one. He didn't even, like, ease into it. He just let her have it. Like, wow.
Well, he knows he can muddle around stuff like that about Hope because it just makes things worse. So get to the point.
He needs to be as direct as Hope is.
Exactly.
Right? And she's like, really? And he's like, She's like, when? He goes, tomorrow. And I'm considering it. If it's okay with you, of course. She's like, are you serious, Vernon? What are you going to talk about? Why she kept your son from you for 50 years? Why she faked her own death? He's like, I know. I know. But Denny is part of our lives now. And I'm going to have to confront this sooner or later. And she shakes her head yes. And she grabs his hand. And she's like, then I guess tomorrow I finally get to meet Rose Miller. And he's like, ugh. Yeah, let me have another sip. So, boy, everybody's enjoying the full moon. So now we've got Lark and Brady, and Lark is like, "Of course," and Brady's like, "Right." He goes, "This place is beautiful." She goes, "Thanks so much for helping me get settled." They're having a beer together outside of her little camper, and he goes, "Oh, don't thank me yet. I'm pretty sure the lake's haunted." She's like, "Wait, seriously?" He's like, "I'm just messing with you." Goodness. She's like, "Well, with everything that's been going on," she's like, "ghosts sound kind of fun." He goes, "You're doing everything you can for your daughter. I wish my mom was like that." "Yeah, she took off when I was about Hazel's age." She goes, "My dad wasn't the greatest either. He was a mean man, especially to my mom." He's like, "Yeah?" He's like, "Was he mean to you?" And she's like, "Yeah. When I was 15, she goes, I couldn't take it anymore. Had to do something, so I stabbed him in the leg with his hunting knife. It's the last time he raised his hand to me or my mom."
Nicely done,
And
girl.
Brady's like, "God, I'm so sorry." She goes, "After Hazel was born, I left. Couldn't let her grow up thinking that's how men should be." She goes, "They can't all be like you." And they kind of look at each other. He goes, "Well, I should go." She's like, "It's getting late. I should probably get some sleep." And he's like, "Thanks for the beer and company." And off he goes. She's like, "Good night, Brady." It's like, "Yeah. Good night, Lark." Little smile, and off he goes. Another group full moon outside. So we've got
Yep.
Bree, Mel, and Ava, and they're all outside on Bree's back patio. She's got her house is gorgeous with the full glass windows. She's got a little fire pit. They're drinking some red wine. And they're like, "To full moons and letting go." And they're doing a little cheers. And they're all like, "Letting go."
Mm.
And Mel's like, "So, what are we writing on these pads?" And Ava's like, "We're going to write down whatever is bothering us and then let it burn." He goes, "Then we're going to let the moon heal us and manifest good energy into our lives." And they're both looking at her like she's lost her mind. And they're like, "Okay, like, sure, why not? Let's do it." Mel, she's like, And she's writing. And Ava's like, "Okay, now." She's like, "Goodbye, guilt. Losing the farm wasn't my fault." And she takes the piece of paper and throws it in the fire. And Bree's like, "Oh, okay." She inhales deeply. She's like, "Goodbye, Brady. I really wish things could have been different. Thought maybe we could, I don't know, heal each other." Folds it, tosses it into the fire, takes a big exhale. And then they both look at Mel. And they're like, "You're up." She goes, "My turn." She has her piece of paper and she's like, "Okay." She's clearing her throat and she's like, "I want to let go of my fear." And you can tell she's starting to cry. She goes, "My fear of trying again and experiencing another loss."
Mm.
And she can't put it in the fire. She's just sitting there and they're all looking at her. And she goes to like put it toward the fire, but she can't do it. And she's like, "I'm sorry." She's like, I get it. It's just a piece of paper and I just can't do it." She goes, "I'm so sorry." She goes, and Ava's like, "I never meant for this to be like hard." She goes, "No, no, no, it's fine." They both get up and they sit next to Mel. And they both put their arms around her and rubbing her back. And she's like, I thought I was moving past this. I did." She's like, I'm a mess." She goes, "No," they're like, "No apologies necessary." She goes, "If Ava says, if we can't take you at your worst," and Bree says, "we don't deserve you at your best," which is a really good saying.
It is.
It's a really good saying, especially for friends. That means that
Mm-hmm.
they'll accept her no matter what, good, bad, and ugly.
Yep.
And she looks at
And
both
you,
of
you
them.
you definitely take me at my ugly.
Me too. We've been through it. I mean, we've been friends, 25 years now?
Yep.
Yep. So we've been through it all.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls are just right there. They got their arms around her. And she's like, "Thank you." And she's crying. She's like, "What always got me through my grief before was that I had hope that the next time was going to be different," as she starts to cry. And she's like, "But this was supposed to be the next time for me.
Mm.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can believe in that anymore. As the sad music plays, they both put their heads on her shoulders and they're just there to support her. Poor thing. So now you see that she's having a hard time. Now you understand why she's having trouble maybe trying again for a baby, because the disappointment has happened so many times that
Yep.
she thought this was it. Like this feels different. This is us. This is me and Jack. This is a new beginning. Like this is a miracle baby. Like it could have been Mark's, but it wasn't. It was Jack's. And then it still turned out the same way. And it's like how many
Yeah.
times can you hope and
Yeah.
get your heart stomped on and still want to continue? And she's just feeling like she's had enough. Like she just
Yeah.
can't do it anymore. So we're at the glamping site, and Brady is there, and one of Melissa's men is waiting for him.
Yeah, the goon guy.
Yep.
I like to call him that because we don't know his name.
Yeah. And he's like, mind getting off my bike? Because he's sitting on his bike. And he's like, you're here kind of late. And he's like, burning the midnight oil. And Brady's like, just making sure people are taken care of and everything's locked up tight. And he goes, Melissa appreciates how smoothly you ran everything today. And he's like, I do too. And Brady's like, well, good, thank you. And he goes, that said, Jack is asking to see the books. We want you to make sure whatever he sees satisfies his curiosity. He goes, well, I can't cook the books unless I know what's really going on. He goes, you going to fill me in on it or what? And he goes, lift up your shirt. And Brady's like, what? He goes, your shirt. He goes, why? You know why. He goes, what? You think I'm wearing a wire? He goes, that's exactly what I think. He goes, if this is going to work, you two need to start trusting me. And Brady looks at him, takes a deep breath, pulls his shirt up. No wire. You see his nice chest, though, but no wire. He goes, happy? And he's like, mm-hmm. Goodness. Back at the full moon. Now Mel is sitting on her bed, and she's staring at the little dress that she had made. And I guess by now she's put the little birdie applique on it. And she's just sitting there on her bed staring at this little dress, and the door opens. And it's Jack. And he's like, hey. And she's like, hey. She's sad, obviously sad. He goes, how was your day? Did the families get settled in? He's like, yeah, they did. He goes, felt good to help. Comes up behind her, kisses her head, gives her a hug. He goes, I know the feeling. Jack's like, He goes, I'm going back to the clinic. And he's like, oh, of course you are. He goes, oh, babe, that's great. He comes around and he sits on the bed across from her. He goes, I mean, I get why you left, but I'm sure when you get pregnant, you'll figure out a way to stay involved for as long as you want.
Oh, boy.
And
Now that's the conversation about.
He just opened the door, and now she has to walk through it. And she's like, take a deep breath. And there's a song called Hurt for Me. And she's like, Jack. He's looking at her with a cute smile on his face, like all full of hope and wonder. And she's like, I think I'm done. And he's looking at her like, with what? She goes, I can't try again. And he's like, but I thought, and she starts crying. She's like, I know, I'm sorry. It's just, this has been just such an emotional roller coaster for me. And I'm so tired. So tired of living on hope and having my heart just ripped out of me. And he could tell his face went from hopeful and happy. It's starting to get sadder and sadder and sadder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actively crying now. She goes over and over again. And I can't do it. She's like, I'm done. And he's like tearing up. And they end it there. Oh. Now she's got to break his heart.
Yeah.
She finally like cracked him open and poured out all of his emotions. And now she's going to break his little heart. Because he was ready. He was ready for a family. Like, he finally, he was like, I'm going to have twins. I'm going to have what? I'm going to do what?
As we said before, a man who had no children had ended up with 3 and now ended up with none.
Yeah.
Oh, that's math. That's math nobody wants.
No, that is a roller coaster ride you never wanted to be on.
Mm-mm.
But in order to get to where they are now, this all had to happen. As sad as it is, as hard as it is, this was them finding their way it's like the pain they individually dealt with was so much, but the pain that they deal with together is what solidifies their relationship. And it sucks and it's hard and it wasn't fair and it should have never happened, but
Ah,
that's where we are.
yep.
And it's sad. But
I'm still not gonna like this part of
I know.
season 5.
No. The next episode, it it offers some hope, which is really
Mm,
all he wants is hope for the future. Like he doesn't
yeah,
want her to close the door. He just
yeah,
wants like he gets where she's coming from. I mean, he watched her go through it. He will soon find out exactly how much she's been through, and then he
yeah,
really gets it. But
yeah.
he just doesn't want her to close the door on it. Like he gets it if the end result is they have no children. He just wants the
Mm-hmm.
possibility to discuss it. Because right now it's
Right,
she's saying I'm done and her
right,
wanting him to be like, "Okay, we're done." And that's not where he's at. He needs to
right,
understand it. He needs her to understand him. They need to decide this together, not just her making a unilateral decision for their future.
right.
And I mean, it's hard. It's a very difficult conversation, but it's one that they have to have, you know?
Yep.
And there's some great scenes in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Some
They are.
truly funny scenes and some really heartfelt scenes that are coming up that are really good. So, and the scenery, the best. Some of the best scenery is in the next episode. I just love it. So whenever I get to go
Yeah.
to Vancouver, I'm going to find all those spots because I want to see them live and in person. You know, it's great on the show, but I really want to see them in person. So hopefully someday. Someday. Anyway.
Yes.
All right. Well, a couple more episodes for this season. We're getting through it. We're finally, I think, a little bit more sad, and then it'll start turning around. It's a rough one. It's a tough season. It's a hard one, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, it is difficult.
All right. Well, thank you, Gigi, once
Well,
again.
thank you, my dear. We will do this once again.
Yes. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, everyone who listens to all of our shenanigans and keeps tuning in for more episodes. We appreciate it. And we'll just, we'll be here every week with one more episode until we run out of them. And then I don't know what we're going to do. We'll figure it out later, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, we'll do this again next time, Gigi. You have a
Okay.
great day.
You
All
too.
right. Thanks
Talk
again,
to you soon.
everybody.
Au revoir,
Bye bye.
everybody.
Take care. Bye bye.